There comes a moment when a man must choose between silence and truth. Silence is easy, keeps you safe, keeps you hidden among the crowd. But truth is a weight, heavy on the shoulders, relentless in its demand. To carry it is not comfortable. It is not convenient. Yet, without it, everything we are begins to crumble. To stand for truth is to know loneliness. The crowd will not gather around you when you speak what they wish not to hear. They will mock, they will doubt, they may even turn away, and still you remain, because the truth is not measured by how many voices echo it. It is measured by the courage of the one who refuses to betray it. There will be fear. Fear will whisper that you're outnumbered, that you're foolish to resist, that the cost is too high. But fear is a shadow. It cannot outlast the light of truth. Intimidation, lies, betrayal, all of it fades. What endures is the unshakable strength of honesty, spoken when it matters most. Integrity is not a gift we are given. It is a choice we must make. Every day and every moment, we decide, do we bend with the tide of convenience, or do we plant our feet in the ground and stand firm? The harder path is always the one that demands more of us, yet it is the only path that leads to justice. And though one voice may sound alone today, it will not remain alone forever. Truth, once set free, takes root in the hearts of others. It grows, it spreads, and it changes the world. Long after we are gone, it will remain as proof as someone had the courage to stand when standing was hardest. So when the moment comes, do not falter, do not hide, stand, even if you stand alone, for the truth does not need a crowd. It needs a guardian, and history remembers not the many who stayed silent, but the few who stood unbroken. Truth is not a gentle companion. It does not bend itself to our wishes, nor soften its edges to make life easier. It is unyielding, unchanging, and it presses upon those who dare to carry it. There is a weight to truth, heavier than iron, sharper than steel. Many choose to set it aside because it demands too much. It asks for courage when fear is easier. It asks for sacrifice when comfort is near at hand. Yet, without truth, every step we take is hollow, every victory built on sand. To bear truth is to live with the knowledge that not everyone will welcome it. Some will fight against it because it exposes their lies. Others will turn their eyes away because they cannot bear to see. And still truth remains, stubborn and enduring, waiting for someone strong enough to lift it. That strength is not found in the body, it is found in the heart. It is the resolve to keep speaking when voices rise against you. It is the discipline to hold firm when temptation whispers that compromise would be easier. The weight of truth is not only what it demands of you, but what it costs you. Friendships may falter, respect may waver, doors may close. Yet what is lost is nothing compared to what is gained. To live with truth is to live unchained. It gives a man his integrity, his dignity, and the quiet knowledge that he has not betrayed himself. The world often asks for silence, for compliance, for the easy path. But the easy path is a lie, and lies are always lighter because they are empty. Truth is heavy because it is real, and when a man chooses to bear that weight, when he carries it with honor, the world may not thank him, but it will remember him. To walk the path of conviction is to know the silence that comes when the crowd disperses. At first there may be voices beside you, nods of agreement, promises of loyalty. But as the cost rises, as resistance grows, those voices fade, one by one. What is left is you standing unshaken, though the ground beneath feels colder than it ever has. Loneliness is the companion of conviction. It is not the loneliness of being forgotten, but the loneliness of refusing to surrender when surrender would buy comfort. The world admires strength from a distance, yet it resents the one who refuses to bend. Conviction unsettles those who prefer the safety of silence. It casts a mirror before them, showing the compromise they have accepted, the truth they have abandoned. And so they leave you to stand alone, hoping that without company your resolve will break. But true conviction is not built on the approval of others. It draws its strength from a deeper well, one that cannot be emptied by isolation. There is a price in this solitude. The nights are long, the doubts louder, and the temptation to step back into the crowd never truly disappears. Yet every man must decide whether the comfort of company is worth the betrayal of his own soul. To stand for conviction is to choose honesty over applause, justice over acceptance. And though it may wound you with loneliness, it preserves the only thing that matters, your integrity. The irony is that in the end, those who stand alone become the ones others look to when the storm has passed. Conviction may isolate in the present, but it inspires in the future. And while loneliness may shadow every step, it is a shadow that proves the light has not been extinguished. Better to walk alone and in truth than march with the many in falsehood. That is the cost of conviction, and it's also its greatest honor. There comes a moment when obedience to the crowd no longer feels like safety, but like a cage. To defy is to risk everything, reputation, comfort, even the acceptance of those we once trusted. Yet there is a power in that risk, a strength that rises when a man chooses to say no to the lie, no to the compromise, no to the silence that protects the guilty. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the will to act despite fear's grip. And in defiance, courage is tested most. To defy is not reckless anger or blind rebellion. True defiance is born from clarity. It is the refusal to bow when injustice demands your submission. It is the choice to stand upright when others bend their knees. Such courage is rarely celebrated in its time. Instead, it is mocked, condemned, painted as arrogance or stubbornness. But history reveals another truth. But progress has never come from those who obeyed quietly, but from those who had the audacity to resist. The courage to defy is not loud. It does not always roar. Sometimes it is quiet, steady, unyielding. It can be a single word spoken in a room full of silence. It can be a step taken when every path seems blocked. It can be the simple act of refusing to agree when agreement would cost your soul. Defiance wears many faces, but at its heart is the same fire. The unwillingness to betray truth for ease. The price of such courage is steep. You may be cast out, ridiculed, left behind. Yet defiance also carries a reward that cannot be bought. The knowledge that you stood firm when it mattered most, that you did not bend when bending was expected, that you dared to live with dignity even when it cost you dearly. In the end, defiance is not about victory. It is about honor. To have the courage to defy is to declare that some things are greater than fear, greater than acceptance, greater than life itself. And though the world may resist, it is always changed by those who dare to stand against. Fear is a shadow that creeps across every path of truth. It whispers when the night is quiet, filling the mind with doubt, tightening its grip around the heart. It tells us that resistance is useless, that silence is safer, that standing alone will lead only to ruin. Fear thrives in secrecy, in hesitation, in the silence of those who believe they are powerless. Yet no shadow exists without light. Fear can loom large, but it has no substance of its own. It is only the absence of courage, only the shake cast when we turn away from what we know must be done. Every man feels it. To claim otherwise is a lie. Fear is not weakness. It is the natural response to risk, to danger, to the unknown. What matters is not whether fear is present, but whether it dictates your steps. Too many have surrendered to its voice, choosing safety over integrity, comfort over conviction. They hide, they compromise, they convince themselves that silence is wisdom, yet in the end they are haunted, not by what they faced, but by what they failed to do. The shadow of fear is powerful because it isolates. It makes you believe you are alone, that no one else dares to walk beside you. But the truth is this: the shadow only falls where the light is strongest. Fear strikes hardest when you are closest to the moment of truth, when the decision you make will echo beyond yourself. That is why courage is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let it rule. To step through fear is to strip it of its power. The moment you act, the shadow dissolves. The lies it spoke vanish, and what remains is clarity, the knowledge that you were never truly powerless. Fear cannot withstand truth, and it cannot outlast those who face it. It retreats always before the strength of a will that refuses to break. And so the shadow of fear becomes more than a threat. It becomes a test of who we are and what we value most. To overcome it is to claim freedom. To bow to it is to live chained in darkness. The choice belongs to each of us. There comes a time when every person is confronted with a choice that reveals who they truly are. It is not made in the open, with applause or recognition, but in the quiet spaces where no one is watching. That is where integrity calls. It is not a voice that shouts. It is a steady whisper, urging you toward what is right when every easier path tempts you to turn away. Integrity does not offer comfort, nor does it promise reward. And what it demands is honesty, even when honesty costs you dearly. The world is full of compromise. Men and women trade their word for advantage, bend their principles to fit the moment, or silence themselves to avoid consequence. At first, the cracks seem small: a lie told to escape blame, a truth hidden to secure favor. But each step down that path erodes the foundation of who they are. Integrity is lost not in great betrayals, but in countless small surrenders. To answer the call to integrity is to refuse those surrenders, to guard your truth even when no one else sees the danger. Integrity is the weight that keeps you steady in the storm. It is the anchor that holds when pressure threatens to pull you under. It demands consistency. What you speak in the light must be the same as what you believe in the dark. To live without it may grant temporary ease, but it leaves a hollowness that no victory can fill. To live with it may bring hardship, but it grants a strength that no force can take away. There will always be moments when the easier path seems justified, when bending feels harmless, when silence seems wise. But those moments are the true measure of character. Integrity is not about grand declarations. It is about the quiet courage to stand when no one is clapping, to act with honor when no one is looking. In the end, wealth fades, titles vanish, and reputations crumble. What remains is whether you stood true to yourself. Integrity is the one legacy that cannot be stripped away. To heed its call is to walk a harder road, but it is the only road that leads to peace within. Truth, once spoken, never dies. It may be resisted, denied, or buried beneath layers of lies, but it endures long after the moment has passed, long after the voice that first carried it has gone silent. Truth remains. It has a way of resurfacing, like light breaking through the cracks of stone. That is the legacy of truth. It outlives the fear that tried to silence it, the power that sought to suppress it, and the comfort that chose to ignore it. When a man stands for truth, he rarely sees the full weight of what he has done. In the present, he may only know struggle. He may lose friends, respect, or safety. He may even believe his stand was forgotten. But time reveals another reality. Truth plants itself in the hearts of those who witness it. A word spoken in courage can echo in another life, shaping choices, inspiring resolve, sparking change that the speaker never lived to see. History remembers not the multitude who kept silent, but the few who refused. The legacy of truth is written by those who stood when it was hardest, who held fast when surrender would have been easier. Their voices, though once isolated, become the foundation of movements, the spark of justice, the proof that one person can alter the course of many. This is not glory sought, but glory earned, not through triumph, but through endurance. This is not the hardship, not the destruction. This is not the past, it is the future. And Kut Korwali, not through triumph, but through endurance. The legacy of truth is not measured in immediate victories, but in the mark it leaves on generations. Lies may win the hour, but truth wins the years. It becomes the compass for those who come after, guiding them through the same storms, giving them strength to resist, reminding them that someone once stood before them and proved it could be done. And so, even if a man stands alone, he is never truly alone. His courage becomes part of something greater, carried forward by others long after he is gone. That is the gift of truth. It is timeless. To defend it is to step into immortality, not of the body, but of the spirit. For long after we fade, the truth we stood for will remain, unbroken and eternal. In the end, all roads lead to one choice, to stand or to fall. Truth is heavy, conviction is lonely, defiance is costly, fear is relentless, and integrity is demanding. Yet together they shape a legacy that cannot be erased. To live for comfort is to vanish unnoticed. To live for truth is to endure, even when the world resists. To let the weight press upon your shoulders, let the loneliness sharpen your resolve. Let defiance give you strength and let fear test your courage. Answer the call to integrity and trust that the truth you carry will outlast the storm. For when the years have passed and the noise of this age has faded, only one thing will remain, that you stood, not with the crowd, not for convenience, but for truth. And in that stand, you are never defeated. You are eternal.